Hello viewers, it is your favorite spoiler from the recap room. For more updates, stay tuned and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you. A flashback clip showing Mike and his brother Mason's past opens the 4th episode of NCIS, Origins Season 2. The two of them are discovered to have fought in Vietnam, and their recollections are undoubtedly negative. Mason, Mike's brother, is also depicted in this scenario having financial difficulties. Because he owed money to the wrong kind of people, men beat him up. Mason chooses to go see his brother in order to resolve his issues. 13 years have passed since they last saw one another. It is undoubtedly difficult for him to re-establish contact with his brother. He had to swallow his ego. Mason was left with no other option. A few flashback scenes from their time in Vietnam are shown as the episode goes on. It turns out that Mike took drugs while he was in Vietnam. The difficult environment was too much for him to handle. Mason did his utmost to assist Mike. But there was nothing he could do. Mason makes an effort to talk to Mike about his problem. He is ready to discuss the issue with Mike when Mike receives an urgent call. Gibbs starts looking into the crime once the situation shifts to a bank heist. Mike drives Lala with him to the crime scene. They learn that the crooks were fleeing in a dark blue Dodge Caravan. The vehicle the offenders were taking to flee passed them before they arrived at the scene. Mike started chasing the car when he saw that. But Lala started to feel uneasy as soon as the automobile chase started. She started having a panic attack as the car's speed rose. Mike chooses not to pursue the car after observing Lala's distressed state. Instead, he assists Lala in calming down. They are unable to stop the automobile when it escapes. Mike heads back home following the fruitless automobile chase. At last, Mason starts to Mike about his problem. When they left for Vietnam, their mother sold the ranch for a reasonable amount, but it was only a handshake deal. At last, he admits that he owes money to the wrong individuals and that their mother's handshake agreement is now worthless. In order to avoid being evicted, he begs Mike if he can buy him some time so he can make a suitable offer. The burglar who looted the bank also calls Mike. By pretending to be Mike, this crook called the station and obtained his home number. As a result of her sharing the number, Mary Jo was accused of being incompetent, which led to her getting into problems. According to a flashback sequence, Mason expelled Mike from his home due to his drug addiction. Mason did not want their mother to be further impacted by Mike's drug problem. Then, in order to resolve Mason's problem, Mike asks Gibbs for Diane's assistance. When the team discovers one of the thieves' bodies, this NCIS, Origins Season 2 episode becomes much more intense. Mason and Mike were optimistic that Diane would be able to assist them with the ranch after she arrived. But Mason tells Mike that he will have to leave the ranch because there is nothing she can do about it. Mike breaks down entirely and starts blaming Mason for kicking him out of the house, which prevented him from saying goodbye to his mother when she passed away. But Mason informs him that before Mike left the house, their mother was ill. Mike didn't realize his mother was ill because of his drug problem. After hearing Mason's remarks, Mike at last comprehends the entire circumstance. Mike eventually realizes that the caller was the individual from the Myers case as the NCIS, Origins Season 2 episode goes on. The entire crew swiftly arrives at his residence and takes him into custody. At the conclusion of this NCIS, Origins episode, Mike and Mason had finally made amends. Thanks for watching, stay tuned for more updates.